Hi guys, Dave here, and today I'm going to show you one of my favourite Steve Lukather solos, I Won't Hold You Back, which is from the Toto 4 album, one of my favourites. Quite a short solo. It's not a very flash one, but it will have its challenges, mainly in controlling your string bending. So it's a really nice one in that respect. It works on some more subtle skills, I would say. But a great solo, melodic, full of emotion. It's a great one to kind of get under your fingers. Okay, before we get started on the actual solo, I just want to remind you, you can support me via Patreon. I'll put a link in the description and you head over there and you can see what is on offer. So do check it out. Okay, on with the solo. So it's 8 bars long, but it's basically a 4-bar chord sequence that gets repeated. So I'll just show you what that is. So it starts on an E flat major 7 for a whole bar. Then it goes down to D7 for a bar. Then D flat major 7 for a bar. And then C sus4 for a bar. And then that just gets repeated. So that's the chord sequence. Now the actual solo itself starts with a 2-fret bend on the 13th fret. So this is the main thing that you hear throughout most of the solo. So he bends up a whole step, then he re-picks the bend and adds vibrato to it. And then here's a trademark Steve Lukather move here. While he's still bent the string, he adds his little finger onto the 14th fret. And then just releases the bend and plays the 13th fret normally. So bend, re-pick, vibrato, add the little finger, and then play 13 normally with vibrato. Does that again for bar 2. But before going any further, I think the challenges there are not only accurate string bending, but also adding vibrato on a pre-bend. And then just trying to keep the vibrato within a certain kind of range so that it's not sounding too out of tune. And then adding that little finger onto the bend. Just at the right spot before bringing it back down. That's the thing that I certainly found more challenging, was just getting it nice and accurate and trying to keep it without sounding too sharp or too flat. So at the end of bar 2, you then just play that note a couple more times. Then we're going to bend up to that note on the 11th fret. Then 2 on the 11. Down to 9. And then bend up to 9 from 8. 2 on the 8. Then you can either go 6 to 8 on the same string, or you could go 10 on the G string up to the 8, whatever you think. When I've seen him play it live, sometimes he does it all on one string, so I don't think it's too important. It's whatever kind of makes sense to you when you're playing it. So. Now the second half is almost the same, but there are a couple of little differences. Bar 5 is the same as bar 1. Bar 6 slightly different. Instead of re-picking the bend, he re-bends. And then instead of a double note here, it's just a single. Then normal thing on the rundown. Now this time I prefer to play 10 on the G up to the 8, which then slides up. And then we end up bending up a whole step on the 13th fret of the E, bend it up, and then re-pick the bend. and then add vibrato on it. So I'll just go through the second half of that. There you go, and that's the guitar solo. As far as sound goes, I'm using my Line 6 Helix, and guitar amp model wise, I'm using a Fender Deluxe with a 2x12 cab, and I've got a little overdrive in front. I think, if I remember rightly, I remember reading an interview where he had a modified Fender. He's called it a blackface, so it might have been a Deluxe, or it might have been a Fender Twin. More likely a Deluxe, I would have thought. And I think it was modified. It might have been by Paul Rivera, but basically I think it just had a lot more gain at the front end of the stage. So to get around that, I've just put an overdrive in front of it. I think I'm using the TMAR model on the Helix for those that are interested, and I think it gets fairly close to the sound that he was using on the record. And I'm pretty sure he was using a Les Paul as well on the bridge pickup. It really cuts through the mix really nicely. Okay guys, I think that's it for this lesson. I hope you get a lot from it as always, and I will see you for one again real soon.